so much cool stuff.
Oh, I look so forward to seeing that, you know.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
For a long time there were issues. Judy Banks was careful about protecting the copyright, but these are the free, nobody's making money off them, and I don't think there's any issue.
I think there are still issues, like you can't post them in all the general public groups or stuff, but I only share the link with people privately, and now Laurie said it's okay, and the talks are just so great. There's so much great stuff in there. I love it.
Well, I just started the recording late because I wanted to, and we don't have to record this because it's just the three of us, but I thought it would be kind of good to have it in a recording I could put up on the Facebook group so that people realize what gems are in the recordings that you submitted, Pallavi, and also the ones that Michael, or actually that Martine put in.
That's the same link. Like I put the link into Michael Fall's Dropbox, and Martine put the same link in.
They're exactly the same. They're all the same. Okay.
No, it's the same link. It's just the same link to the same Dropbox. Yeah.
Okay.
I was overwhelmed by the number of recordings. I mean, I looked at these recordings and I'm so used to seeing I have the original tapes in my closet here, the old tapes. And I've been used to hearing those. Oops, let me shut this off here. How did that get on? Anyway. Okay. It's probably somebody telling me that my car insurance has expired. or the IRS has identified me as a potential hacked person, you know. I get probably six of those spam calls a day. So
really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Anyway, so back to what this is about. So yeah, I think that's a wonderful, wonderful resource.
Yeah, I think so too.
You could each say a little bit more about, to encourage people to listen to those.
Yeah, I don't know, like I found them last summer, I think, and I started listening to them, and I just kept listening to them since then, like every day. I found a few favorites of mine. It's often the very early talks, like from the 70s or 80s. And I don't know, like to me, they're just very close to this feeling. Like when I listen to them, I just get into this quiet space a lot. And I like the way Sid talks actually in these early talks. I guess there's more about God in there, or more spiritual words or something, but I really like that. And I think you can see the simplicity of the teaching. It's a lot about love and seeing the perfection in everything that is, even in the chaos or the mess, that it's still perfect in the law of God. And I don't know, I'm just really in love with him. Like, it's beautiful.
In the imperfect.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Could you say a little more about that?
Yeah, it was really interesting for me because, like all the wise people are always saying the answer is love. And I kind of got that, but I didn't really get it. Like, it makes sense that if there's a situation with anger or hate, that it doesn't help to put more anger or hate in there, so that it would help to react with love. But I think in listening to Sid, what I understood is that what we are looking for is this space of unconditional love, of pure love and openness. And that no matter what goes wrong or how imperfect or messy stuff looks, that the only way back to where we want to go back, and the only way to truth, or the only reaction that is true to whatever happens out there or seems to happen out there, can only be love, because it's the only, it's the only truth. And I don't know. I don't know how to explain, but there's something so beautiful in this, in seeing that, I let Allan take over, or somebody else. I don't know how to explain what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I love that, what you had to say. What about you, Allan? What?
Well, when I first encountered Sid, I felt a deep,
Early tapes in particular.
yeah, the early tapes back are,
Facebook group.
the early tapes are closer to my experience of him in the late 70s. And
Those were the tapes that you listened to when you were part of the group in Eugene, Oregon.
yeah, they have, what do they have on them by the foundation, the Citibank's foundation, these little cassettes. And John Wood made master copies of all of those tapes. And I don't know if those are still available or not, but the tapes on on the website, all of his tapes, I think, are just an amazing resource. And if they resonate, great. If they resonate when you listen to them, um, just keep listening to them. Just listen to those tapes because they point. That's a weak word. They cause a part of me to manifest more clearly, and that feels wonderful. It feels wonderful, and it provides a grounding to come back to, to come back to.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that when I'm triggered or when I'm insecure that I'm not going to get wisdom. That's not what it means. Wisdom is still there. I mean, mind is always speaking, is always there. Mind is always there, whether I'm freaking out or not. But having an experience like those tapes can bring is a reminder of what it can be. So,
A reminder of what life.
can be. Yeah, good.
We're
Yeah.
always one thought away from that.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. True.
What a gift, really, to have that available to us.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think it also helped me get an experience of seeing why I don't need to understand. Like Sid keeps saying, you can't understand this, right? Or it's not possible to understand with the intellectual mind. And I think in listening to his tapes, I experienced this getting more quiet and then finding answers from my inside. Like I'm listening to him, and this helps me get into a quiet state, and then I'm finding my own answers. And then this is very interesting to me too, because I tend to really try to grasp what everybody is saying and, like figure it out. So it's nice to see there's another way.
Right. It can't be figured out. That's true. Yeah. So I think, the way Sid talks from his raw experience of what happened to him that brought him all of this understanding and wisdom, because you can't figure it out intellectually, it kind of, for me, it feels like it's turning my brain off. It turns my brain off. Because you can't get there through brain work, through brain activity.
I know that in some of those original groups on Salt Spring with Sid, some people got so angry because what he was saying was, simple. It didn't make sense. I remember Sid said at one point, probably says this on a tape too, is that be careful of people that make too much sense.
Yeah, he says that somewhere.
He says that, does he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, be careful if you ever come along a teacher who makes sense. Like,
Yes.
The truth is not supposed to make sense.
Yeah, and what was happening though is that people were being flippant about that truth. Flippant. and sometimes a little bit arrogant as well. And so that, of course, just made the angry people angrier, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, Loie, I think last week maybe we talked about mind, or I don't know if I'm confusing it with another group, but I think what resonates very strongly with me from the early talks is this feeling of being part of something bigger and of not being so important with my personal mind and personal identity. And this is always like something that really touches me and is very helpful to me, because in a way, the world and life only makes sense to me from that perspective. Or it's it's like where I find peace with everything. And yeah, I think this feeling is very strong in there, this feeling of being part of the whole, and not being the one who needs to control everything or have an opinion on everything. And yeah, something
I
like that.
think one of the benefits of this understanding for me is to have a huge part of me that is so what, meaning I'm scared, so what? I'm angry, so what? I'm triggered, so what? And that helps me get through times, because the part of me that says so what, I know has a lot of wisdom and is less personal. It's impersonal. Yeah, the part that says so what is impersonal, or that, yeah.
On a spiritual level, it is so what?
Yeah.
Like it's neutral. It's the person that's our person that is making up the meaning,
Yeah.
whatever it is that's on our mind. And this is so funny because, my plan, and we can definitely veer away from my plan at any point, which we do. But my plan for today, number 4, was how do we know the difference between our personality, our person, or physical brain and body, and spiritual? And that's what the two of you are talking about, that you hear in Sid's recordings, especially these early recordings. The so what is the personal.
The impersonal.
What's that?
You mean the impersonal? Like I understood it in, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is the impersonal?
Yeah.
It's making meaning out of all of this, that, whatever is on our mind at the time.
Yeah, and to me it feels.
And that's a spam call. We were just talking and I can't get it to stop. Sorry about that.
And I think what's new to me also since coming across Sid's teachings is that this part of so what, or this part that sees the bigger picture and the more spiritual thing, it's not something abstract. It becomes a real experience, like, like really touchable, and it's really there. I think before I heard a lot of great teachings, and I also had like beautiful moments, but it always felt like a bit more theoretical. It wasn't really my experience. And now I feel it's more like really part of my life. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's really tangible. And yeah. And
Yeah.
the thought that comes in my head since a few days all the time is it's God's world, not mine. And it's very funny because it's a new thought. I don't know where it comes from. And it feels beautiful to me. Like, to me, it means it's not my job to control it or change it. It's my job to love it and to experience it, because, it's kind of sacred everything. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do both of you get that experience? I think what you were referring to, Pallavi, is how it just becomes part of how you live your life,
Yeah.
right? Like you don't get caught up as much. And when you do, it doesn't last as long because you've seen beyond that getting caught up feeling, that emotional feeling. You've seen beyond that. Boy, it's hard to explain and put it in words, isn't it? But I think that's what you're referring to, that it becomes just the way you live your life more. Like you don't have to think about it. You don't have to really think, is this a positive or a negative thought, or am I caught up? Just like, no, it's so much more automatic, except when we are caught up.
Yeah.
And then you get hit with, oh, wow, I was just caught up, wasn't I? Is that how it feels to both of you?
I for sure still get caught up, but it seems that there's a part that notices it and that doesn't take it so serious. And I noticed that with my husband, like we get out of it in a second, like when so this is funny. We just, we would never get the idea of talking about it later. It's just like, oh yeah, we had a bad moment. So that's nice. Yeah. And on the other hand, I feel like I'm only seeing so little, and because I have the feeling I keep having the same insights, just on a new level, like, and I often feel like, oh my God, there's so much more to see because I'm still so much in my little frame of mind and concept and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's exciting. There's always more to see. That's really exciting to me. What were you going to say, Allan? I cut you off.
No, that's okay. I was just thinking that so much about the three principles have been in the past for many of us, how to live, how to think, how to feel, what to do. And Sid was always about what is. This is the way it is. This is what's true. This is what you need to know. And I think that's really hard for people initially sometimes to settle into, that the what is where the power is.
Yeah.
And the how to is personal. The what is impersonal. So yeah, Sid's I just thought about this though. Sid's tapes, especially his earlier tapes, are about what is.
Yeah.
And I've learned to not trust the how to as much.
Right. There is no how to. And I find that as people start listening to Sid and reading Sid, they often hear it as you want to change a negative thought for a positive thought. That's what I hear a lot. I don't remember if that was how I took it at first, but I hear people who are just being exposed to Sid that's how they translate it. And that's a how-to. And doing positive thinking will never get you what just accepting that thoughts will bring us our experience in that moment in time. It's really that simple. Our own thinking is what is always bringing us our experience, because we can't be conscious of somebody else's thinking. We can only be conscious of our own thinking. And
that's funny. I even hear accept your thoughts in the moment as a how to.
Say that.
I even hear accept your thoughts in the moment as a how to.
Censoring your thoughts.
Yeah, that's a or even accepting your thoughts. In my mind, that's a how to. The what is your thinking. Or the how-to is you're using the gift of thought to bring alive consciousness. Those are what is. You know, accept your thoughts. Don't treat your negative thoughts seriously. Those are how-tos in my mind. I don't know, just kind of making this up, but that's the way.
No, but I understand what you mean. Yeah.
Right. That's a really important point. Right. It
But
is literally, it just is, period.
But I do wonder sometimes, because like in those talks, Sid does talk a lot about always look for the positive, look for a positive feeling. I mean, he definitely says it's not about just changing your thinking to positive thinking, because you just change the concepts and stuff. And he says you have to go back to the quiet space and come up with something new from there. But he does talk a lot about looking for a positive feeling. And I don't hear this a lot in the general 3P world. So I was wondering if like in a way the teachers took this out because everyone hears it as a how-to, like you have to think positive, or
What do you think about that, Allan?
I don't hear you.
I think in terms of looking in the direction. That's how I think.
That's great.
Pointing to formless.
If I say look in the direction, that's a how-to. If I say look for a positive feeling, that's a how-to. Now, if I'm Sid and I say look for a positive feeling, that's a what is expressing what he knows as a how-to. I don't know.
I love that.
I don't know.
I can't remember what you just said, but I loved it. Good that we have recordings. Yeah, it's so on the line. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. There's this line. At one end are the what is, at the far end is the how-to. And the struggle I had with writing Perfect Misfortune was it started off as kind of a what is how-to mix. And then as fifth edition came along, and I rewrote it as good as I could from a how-to point of view. And I was so happy when Jack Pransky wrote the forward in there, because I thought, OMG, finally I've written something that's much more how-to. I mean, much more what is than how-to,
Yeah, I love that distinction, Allan.
Yeah.
Such a great distinction. Yeah.
And your book, like I said now a few times, but it really gave me that feeling, especially regarding the physical symptoms, because when I read Perfect Misfortune, I was pretty new to the 3P, and I still had this feeling of doing something, needing controlling, getting rid of the pain, whatever. And I don't remember what it was, but I remember that I felt very quiet and peaceful after reading your book. And it was something about making peace with what's there on the physical level, and happiness and freedom not being dependent on that. And like the whole feeling was very much in this what is direction.
Yeah, that makes sense in that realm also about physical pain, because if you're in physical pain and you're freaked out about it, you're going to tense up and tighten up. But if you just say, okay, right now I'm feeling pain, I'm going to rest. I'm just not going to push myself.
Yeah.
Whatever, that registers for you. But sometimes that feedback of physical pain is very valuable. Like if I overwork at the gym and I hurt my shoulder, which has happened, then that's feedback that lets me know I've got to be more gentle.
Yeah, To me, the problem is that with chronic pain, which is pretty constant, it stops being a valuable feedback in a way. Like I do see, of course, when I overstress myself, then it gets worse, and then I rest, and then it makes sense. But what actually drove me kind of nuts was taking it as a feedback all the time. So it was like constantly telling me in my mind, you're doing something wrong. You need to be calmer. You need to be more relaxed because you still have pain. So what really helped me is seeing it completely neutral, just as this is my experience right now, and it doesn't mean anything. It means what I say it means, or like what I do with it. And because, do you understand what I mean? It kind of, if you keep staying in this feedback loop, or oh God, I'm still doing something, or still something's not right, it just keeps you freaked out about it. And I actually told Loie last week, but I like to tell Allan, I had the pleasure of talking to Dr. Bill Pettitz 10 days ago in a Zoom session, and I asked him about the physical stuff because I still had a bit of this lingering feeling of, yeah, but shouldn't it go away? Is something wrong with me if it still stays? And it was so sweet. Like, he gave me a very sweet answer, but what really hit me and helped me was that he just simply said, I have physical symptoms all the time. And it was just like, okay, if this guy who is so full of love and so sweet and wise just tells me, okay, he has physical symptoms, I'm fine with mine. So it was really helpful.
Yeah, this just occurred to me as a bullet point, right? If I can live my life so that my how-tos, my personal thinking, comes from my what is, my impersonal thinking, my life will be quieter, easier, more peaceful. So if it's like I said a little bit ago about Sid's looking for the feeling, his how-to coming from his deep sense of what is. It occurs to me that, the more I live my life as an expression of what is through how-tos, through my personal thinking, the easier my life will be, and the more healing it will be. So if I feel pain, that's a what is.
Yeah.
And hopefully the how-to that comes out of that what is will be healing. So maybe there's a book title here. I don't know. But anyway. Anyway, I think that's true. I think that's true. If I can live my life, if I can express what is in my how-tos, my life and my relationships will be more healing.
I mean, to me, that sounds like living from wisdom, right? Like when you're with what is, you can access the wisdom from the moment.
Yeah, like when I think about what is as love being the place or the thing or the, coming from that feeling or that space of love, that to me is the big what is. And then, like Allan was saying, coming from that space, you can do how-tos, but it'll be coming from inside out rather than a how-to outside in behavior modification strategy technique, something like that. So I could also apply that to what we were talking about a little bit ago, like Pallavi, you having chronic pain and me having pain every so often when I overwork myself. So, the love of wanting to take care of myself gives me the how-to. Okay, you overdid it on that exercise. Give your shoulder a break. Don't go back and do that exercise the next day. So I guess that is a how-to coming from a what is of just love our spiritual or soul or, yeah, which means it doesn't make sense to beat up our physical body. If we love the energy that comes through us and the soul within us, beating ourselves up physically or mentally is not going to be useful.
Yeah.
Zero. Or that's what's A-okay. Two thumbs up. So what else do you guys want to say about that? We got a few more minutes. Our soul and our physical.
I sometimes don't understand why I'm like, sometimes I feel I can watch myself getting pulled into a busy mind, you know, but I feel like I'm right in the middle. I can see the quietness and I can see this open space. And then I feel like I'm being pulled into this, oh, I have to think about it. And I'm just wondering, like, sometimes it seems so stupid, you know? I don't know if it's just a habit or if it's, I can see that it's maybe getting less or more obvious or something, but I'm sometimes just wondering why we even do that, because it obviously doesn't feel good.
I think your awareness of that is the what is expressing.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. There've been a few people who have been on our talks who later said that they felt a little uncomfortable when it got quiet on our talk. Yeah, and I understand that. I mean, that used to happen to me. I don't feel uncomfortable about that. I feel like we're just quiet. We're sharing this time and space together. And if nothing comes to any of us, that's fine. Something eventually does come.
My most favorite button, and I've just discovered this recently, is the mute button. When I push that mute button, there's a sense of relief and a sense of freedom and a sense of quietness that descends upon me. So here I go.
Yeah, quietness. This just came to me. I think quietness is underrated.
Yeah.
Do you get that? Like a quiet mind is really underrated. If people knew the value of that, you know, there were these sayings like, well, that's why we're given one mouth and two ears, so that we get quiet and we listen double as much as we talk. But that's a how-to. But that how-to comes from the what is of quiet is beautiful.
Yeah.
Underneath the quiet mind is love, right? Because it's the mind that judges and has expectations. That has come up so often in the couples that I'm working with, that when they got to quiet their expectations, it made a world of difference, a huge difference. Expecting their partner to be a certain way or to treat them a certain way or do certain things, or why doesn't he know my favorite color or my favorite flower? All these years we've lived together, why doesn't he know that? You know, and then they realize it's their expectations that are getting in the way. The how-tos. You should do it this way. This is how to do it. The how-tos.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they'll get us in trouble.
I was just reflecting on how many flavors of love there are too. How many flavors, you know, compassion and joy And there are,
Yeah.
50, 100 different flavors
Yeah.
of love.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if certain personal thinking tends to be more comfortable with the expression of different flavors of love. I mean, explaining to them how important and how what is love is. Maybe there are ways of language that would help some people be more comfortable with the word love, just because it's more it's more comfortable to them. So love is easy to say, and it means so many things to people. So many different things, and our language is so limited. Western language, I think, is extremely limited when it comes to feelings.
Yeah.
So anyway, just a thought about the word love, I guess.
Mm.
Isn't that interesting, right? That some people would feel uncomfortable with the word love, right? Because of the meaning they place on it. Oh, that's too Hallmark card stuff. That's too makes people too vulnerable, or whatever meaning people have on that one word. Yeah. Understanding, compassion, gratitude. Like you said, 50 flavors, they all describe the same exact thing. That 4-letter word.
Yeah, caring. Um, I don't know. There are words for love that are less loaded, less triggering. Yeah, there it is. There's the word I was looking for. The word love can be triggering.
People who think they weren't loved enough,
Yeah.
or they made mistakes in their past that they didn't love enough, that's judgment. It's just,
Yeah, so I think in our society, love is often just connected with either attraction or sexual love or desire or wanting something or needing something. Like it doesn't often bring this quiet feeling with it when it's used in movies or advertisement or whatever. It brings more of a wanting feeling with it.
yeah. Yeah. And what is that? That's expecting it to come from outside of you.
Mm.
Desire, wanting, as though love is something we get, as opposed to love is who we are. And there's an unlimited source of it right within us. We don't need to get it from elsewhere.
Yeah. Did you two come across when Sid says pure love and pure understanding are the same thing? Like I find that very interesting. He says
Yeah,
it.
and he also said that consciousness is pure love
Pure love.
as well.
Yeah.
And I think about that makes sense experientially to me,
Mm.
because if I look at nature, if I look at Nancy, if I look at my little dog, if I look at the light coming through that window without judgment,
Mm.
without personal thinking, I have a positive feeling about it.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just awareness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Awareness is love.
Awareness is love.
Yeah. You know what comes to my mind hearing that from you, Allan, is when I take my walks in my park. We've talked about walking in nature. I could be up in my head pondering something, and a mom with a baby in the baby carriage comes by, and this sweet little baby in the carriage, and I am right there. Total love feeling. Totally obliterates whatever the heck I was caught up in my mind thinking about. That's how quick it is. It's instantaneous. It's not like we have to think, okay, I have to stop thinking this in order to have a good feeling because I'm passing this really cute kid. We don't have to think about it. It's just so boom, right there.
Oh, I got this too. Wait.
Ah.
Ah,
I don't have it on that screen. I don't have it now. Isn't that funny? Oh,
yes,
yeah,
on reactions.
there it is. Yeah. I wonder who came up with that on Zoom, you know, well, they have, you know, you have it on Instagram and Facebook, and now they're doing it on Zoom, our little reactions. I love that. So cool.
Hmm.
Wow.
Will you guys be on the conference?
Say again, Pallavi?
Will you be on the conference? The online conference that starts on Sunday?
And
No, I won't be available. I won't be able to.
I'm going to tell you the truth. I want to be outdoors.
No.
You know, I can't. Are you going to be there?
I'm volunteering to help. Yeah.
Very cool.
I really ought to register for it, even if I can only make an hour or so. Register for it, Allan?
No, that's it. I was happy to see that Pallavi was volunteering. That's all.
I don't even like conferences so much because there's so much you can't listen the whole day. But I like the idea of volunteering and maybe watching some recordings later. And now they announced they will show some new videos of Sid that have never been shown anywhere from 2005. Yeah.
Wow.
Videos of Sid?
Huh?
Wow.
New videos of Sid?
Yeah, they do a premiere of a talk he gave in 2005. And they will show it only on the conference, but there will be no recording. So.
Oh, that's how they're gonna. Oh, that's how they're really.
It's a bit tricky.
Yes.
I'm glad you brought it up because even if I can only make an hour, like you say, the recordings will be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, be good to see. Be really good. Yeah.
And Hannah is talking there too, so I always like to be there too. And
yeah, right. And we can come and go at our leisure. Yeah, and not feel like we're pinned to sitting and watching.
Yeah, I think with the volunteering, we only have 2 sessions during the day where we get in there. Only when they have these breakout rooms, then we have to show up to do something. I'm not sure yet what, but.
Oh, good. I'm really glad you brought that up because you reminded me I got to buy a ticket. Yeah. I probably missed the early bird, right? What's the price?
Probably. I don't know because I'm not paying.
You're not paid?
I don't have to pay because I'm volunteering. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, nice. What's your role as a volunteer?
It's they split it up. There's always somebody who has to take care of the Zoom room, like the technical stuff, you know, to let people in, and we have to show up like half an hour before the session starts and get people in and talk to the speaker and see if they want to take questions, you know, just like this how do you say, this housekeeping stuff basically.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's great. Good for you. It's a lot of responsibility. Yeah.
I hope Mind will take care, you know.
Yeah. That's great. So, any last comments or suggestions?
Just a comment. So I just received Elsie's book, Mentored by Mind. Highly recommend.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
I got it too. I got the book also when I got your book, Alan. I'm having such a great time reading your book.
Oh, well, thank you.
It's really well written. I hear your voice. You know, it sounds like you're
Oh, good.
coming through.
Oh, good, good, I think.
So that's been fun.
So Elsie has a kind of a way of presenting her wisdom that resonates with me, and I understand that it might not resonate with everybody. But you know, you find the materials, the audio tapes, the videotapes that resonate with your learning style, as well as what is being said and how it's being said and the tone of it. You know, and then do more of those.
Elsie did a webinar for 3PGC that I just posted in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Ah,
I don't know if you heard that.
I'll watch that.
It was just,
No, I haven't seen it yet.
yeah, it's brand new.
Yeah, I saw your post, but I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, so much to listen to.
Yeah.
Never end. Yeah. The conferences are always exciting. They're always really good. I hope some people in our group bought tickets for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, you two. So
Okay.
I'll speak, or I'll
So-
see, no, not Pallavi. I'll
Huh?
see you probably. Oh yeah, because you come to this one, but I'm saying not Allan probably, because you usually come to Thursday at 5, right?
Oh, okay.
I think. I don't know. Allan, you come whenever you can make it.
Yeah,
Come
usually 2 o'clock on Thursday. Sometimes I can do other times as well, but I really so much enjoy these, Lori. I think they're wonderful little, I don't know what they're just they're little opportunities to be authentic and vulnerable and reflective.
Yeah.
So I, you know, thank you.
Yeah. And I get insights too.
Yeah.
On with all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's.
And I love it when it's going over a longer time. It feels like hanging out with friends then at some point, you know, but like in a super nice way where you can really share what's new. And yeah, I really appreciate it too.
Yeah. And what's so great is you're from all these different places in the world. I love that.
Yeah. That's very cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a wonderful
Thank you.
rest of the day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of it.
Good luck with your dog with getting better.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Hope to see you.